Hi, I'm Allie, and this is Moondancer, and today we're going to do a button review using the saddle. All right, when I say button review, what I mean is we're going to go over the buttons, which is 1, that is in front of the girth, 2, that is at the girth, and 3, that is behind the girth. So button number 1 is going to push on that forehand. It's going to open the door to the right. So left pressure button number 1 should get the forehand to move right, and left pressure button number 3 should move the hindquarters. Now, I'm using a bitless bridle or a side pull. This is the lightest one I can come up with. You can do this with a halter. But what I want her to do is recognize that what I'm asking her to do on the ground is eventually going to be how I'm going to ask her in the saddle. So I'm going to use a little bit of indirect and direct rein pressure. So to get her to, first of all, move that forehand, I'm going to take my reins and I'm going to put the outside, they're looped, around the saddle horn. I'm going to make a loop and I'm going to be able to pull that direct rein on the right side with that, and I can use indirect rein with this one. So now that I've got the setup, you can see it, my toes are pointed right here in the middle. So I'm giving direct rein pressure that way, and I'm going to apply button number 1. So there you go, and I'm looking for that crossover. So if she goes too much, I can pull back, cross, cross, cross. So she knows what that means really well. Whoa. I didn't even have to touch her, really. So she's very, very light, and that's what I'm figuring out from this first session. So that was great. She moved on one side. So let's try the other. So remember, it's going to be direct pressure with the outside, make my loop, and then I'm just going to apply button number 1. There we go, and cross, 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 cross. Oh my gosh, that was fantastic. Good girl. Very good girl. All right, next exercise, I want her to be able to give her nose. So intermittent pressure, just really, really light. She responds really quickly to this bridle. So I'm going to take my finger, thumb and forefinger, I'm going to put it up here where it would be in the saddle until she gives. Oh my gosh, she gives just so nicely. Wow, that's fantastic. So we have gotten that one. We're going to use the back up. So we're going to put pressure this way and back, back, even on both sides, back, and release. Now we're going to move over here to this other side. And I'm going to ask for her to flex this side. Thumb and forefinger. Oh, look at how nice and easy she is. So obviously, this is the lightest side pull I have. And it's just, a little bitty pressure. And she's giving so nicely. So I can close it and just open my fingers and just release. So that's great. Okay. The next button I'm going to focus on is button number 3. That's moving the hindquarters. So I've got to tip her nose towards me, the opposite direction I want her hindquarters to go. So I'm going to have to tip that nose just a little bit, put my hand right here. See, I just want to be able to see the corner of her eye and the corner of her nose, and I'm going to move button number 3. There we go, and I want to cross. Now if she goes forward, I got to pull her back, and I want to cross, 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 and release. Ooh. Wow, she is super, super sensitive. So I'm going to come back over on this other side. Again, I can tighten up my reins right here to keep her from moving forward, but still keep her nose bent the direction I want her to go. And I'm applying button number 3. Ready? Turn her nose in and button number 3, 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 and pull back. And very nice. So she's figuring out that really well. We're going to practice this a little bit more. Come on, baby. Sometimes she doesn't want to go forward, and then we have to move side to side. So there you go. That's kind of a review of what our buttons are going to look like on the ground. We're going to work with those on the ground before we get into the saddle. She is really, really sensitive. So she needs to understand exactly what applying the pressure really means. Today we're actually lunging her in a side pull, and this is not the pad I'm going to use on her, but I am using a pad that has those little fringy things right over her hindquarters. And the reason I'm doing that is just desensitization, getting her used to stuff flapping. Here we go. So thank you so much for joining me on today's video. And if you enjoyed the video, give us a like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And remember, to see more, check out our playlists. Check out Moondancers too.